Banning cigarettes. It's a topic that has long sparked debate and on both sides of the aisle. One side advocates for personal freedom, the right to make your life choices. The other side battles for public health, and in the UK it looks like the second side has won. London is making a case for banning cigarettes. They want to phase out smoking, and leading the charge is Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
So I propose that in future we raise the smoking age by 1 year every year. That means a 14-year-old today will never legally be sold a cigarette, and that they and their generation can grow up smoke-free.
So how exactly will this work? Sunak plans to raise the age of smoking. It will happen gradually. The legal age for smoking will be raised by 1 year every year until eventually no one is able to smoke. Let me explain. Suppose the legal age is 16. So if you're less than 16 years of age, you're not allowed to smoke. But next year, the legal age will be raised to 17. So when you grow 1 year older, you're still not allowed to smoke. The year after, the legal age will be raised to 18 and so on. So basically, you will never qualify. That's the plan. It's ambitious, but not new. Rishi Sunak got the blueprint from New Zealand. Last year, New Zealand became the first country to ban smoking. This was done for those under the age of 14. And New Zealand has implemented an annually rising smoking age, the same that Sunak is proposing. They raise the legal age every year. The idea is to outlaw smoking for the next generation. Now, the UK wants to do the same, but it has a few hurdles ahead of it. The first hurdle is implementation, and arguably the biggest. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has just floated the idea. British MPs will have to vote on it. If approved, plans need to be set in place. It will be a long drawn process. The second is backlash, the second challenge. The tobacco industry is a money spinner. Last year, they raised over $12 billion in taxes in the UK. If there's a ban, this figure will drop. So tax revenues will fall. Plus, it could create a black market for cigarettes. Currently, smoking is legal, so cigarettes are not sold illegally. But if there is an age ban, that could change.
I don't think it'll work. No, I think they'll reach an age level, and then they won't do any adding on of the years. I think it's quite sensible to try and persuade people not to smoke. But I don't think you'll find that 58-year-olds will be banned from buying cigarettes.
Right now, the world has more than 1.3 billion tobacco users. Every year, 8 million people die because of it. And of course, this is a critical step for the UK. It's also something that countries like India could think about. India is home to 12% of the world's smokers. We have more than 267 million smokers. And it sounds like a conservative estimate, 267 million. Every year, 1 million people die in India from tobacco-related diseases. There is a slew of anti-smoking rules. Those rules are already in place, like ban on smoking in public places and no sale of cigarettes near educational institutions. But that has not stopped anyone. People still smoke in public, and cigarettes are still sold near schools. We haven't yet thought of an outright ban like the UK, but India is mulling a ban on the sale of loose cigarettes. The government is yet to take a decision on that. For now, let's go back to the question that we began with. Should cigarettes die on their own, or should they die at the hand of the state? Many would argue that this ban is a futile step. There are so many ways to beat it. If you are not allowed to buy a cigarette, you could get it from an older friend or colleague. Like any addiction, there are ways around it. And people will most likely try to circumvent the ban, but that applies to all bans, honestly. Such moves are not so much about banning as about discouraging. It's about making it difficult for people to access a cigarette. And it's still likely that 2 out of 3 people will still light it. But even if one person is dissuaded, that's one life saved. Because birth date bans are far from perfect. They may or may not bring down smoking rates, but we say at least it's a start.